Hi, we meet again. In the session, we're going to do something after we've done the installation of RockyLinux at previous session. There are 1. Set up a virtual switch on Hyper-V, so we can reach the internet inside our VM. 2. Update Linux installation. 3. Create VM checkpoint, so we can save our session before doing something. 4. Accessing from SSH Client, and let you access your Linux from another computer. 5. SSH Access with public key, to access your Linux more secure rather than typing your password. Okay, let's begin. Let's open the command prompt and ping to Google, for example. As you can see, currently our system doesn't have any internet connection. And let's assume that we're going to connect to internet via Wi-Fi connection. First, let's get connected to a Wi-Fi access point. And now we're connected to the internet. Then, let's open our Hyper-V manager. And select Virtual Switch Manager from the actions. And select New Virtual Switch, and then select the external type, then press Create Virtual Switch. A new virtual switch is now added. Let's call it Wi-Fi Virtual Switch, as we're going to bind it to our Wi-Fi network. As for external type, we need to select an external connection to bind, that's the name of our Wi-Fi network adapter. If you're unsure, just open Control Panel, open your Wi-Fi connection, and press Details. At Description field, you'll get your Wi-Fi network adapter name. And then select the same as your external network in Virtual Switch configuration. Then press OK to set. You'll be warned that this will disrupt your connection for a while. Press Yes to confirm. Your system is now applying changes, and your connection will be disconnected for a moment. After you are connected again, let's select our virtual machine and open the settings. At the setting menu, select the network adapter menu, and then select our newly created Wi-Fi virtual switch, then press OK. And now, we can start to boot our virtual machine. And let's log into our VM. We need to configure our VM network like IP address, gateway, and so on. To configure the network, we need to use the sudo command. That's a privileged command that allows to make important changes. We type sudo nmtui. nmtui is an interface to configure our network easily rather than editing a configuration file. And we're asked to type password for Scrapper. Oh, but Scrapper is currently not allowed to use sudo command. This might happen when you not set it as an administrator during the installation before. Let's take a little detour to understand about a regular user and an administrator. We'll get back to configure the network a moment after this. So a root user must have been created, that is the highest privileged administrator account. Now, we need to switch user to root by typing su root at the terminal. And use the password as we've set it during installation. After switching to root, now every command will be at highest privilege permission. You don't need to type sudo to do anything. That's why the root account is powerful and dangerous. Just like our next command, to set Scrapper as member of administrator group of the system, that allowed to use sudo command. Will as it's called in RockyLinux, and other Red Hat clones. Type usermod, -a, capital G, wheel, Scrapper. If no error returned, then Scrapper should have joined as wheel, a sudo or an administrator. Let's check by typing exit first to log out as root user, and exit again to as Scrapper. Now let's log in again as Scrapper, with a more entitled privilege that allowed to user sudo command. Let's see. Type who am I to see who we are. Currently, we're a normal user that is Scrapper. Now let's switch user to root. Enter the root password. And type who am I. We're now root, the administrative account. Today, we are recommended not to enable root account while installing Linux, because someone can have more easy chance to gain access to your system, as they only have to guess the root password. If we have other than root account as the main administrator, then the hacker job will be harder. They need to guess the administrator name and also the password. That's why you should disable to root account. Anyway, and let's exit back as Scrapper again. And now we're trying to do a sudo command to become an administrator without switching to root account. Now, type sudo bash. Remember, we might be asked password for Scrapper if when we use sudo. As it's not long ago since we used sudo, no password asked at the moment. Anyway, try who am I again. Now, we're as root, who can do administrative things, without logging as root. This is how you can do many important stuff, with root account disabled at the installation. Now, let's back to our network configuration. Type exit. And log in again as Scrapper. And now as a group of administrator, type sudo nmtui again to configure the network. We need to enter Scrapper password again to use sudo. And here we go. Let's go to edit connection, just use arrow keys to navigate, or try tab key to switch between menu for some action. Press enter to select. We see the ETH0 as this is our current network adapter that is need to be configured. Press enter to select. Here, we go to IPv4 configuration, and press enter to see the available selection. Just use automatic as our Wi-Fi connection usually do that. And let IPv6 configuration disable this time, as we're not currently using it. Set the automatically connect on, so the connection will be used right away. Then press OK to confirm our setting. Now, get back by pressing Escape to main menu. Now select Activate a connection menu, and now we see an asterisk in front of ETH0, our network adapter. This is an indicator that we're connected to the network, and please acknowledge the deactivate button to the right, as it is a switch to disconnect the ETH0 or then to connect again. Let's hit Escape to go back to main menu, then go to Quit to exit NMTUI. Back to terminal, let's try our connection. Type ping 8.8.8.8. We're connected. Just type Ctrl+C to end the ping. Now type clear, this is just to wipe clear the screen. Let's get to our next job. Let's update our Linux to the latest version. Just type sudo dnf update and hit enter. System will check to the internet for the latest update. If there are some updates, you'll be prompted to press Y to begin the updating process. You may be prompted to press Y again to confirm some actions during this update process. Let's skip to the end of this update process. Now, it's done. Let's see the latest version. Type cat/etc/release. This is to display the system release version string. And it's version 9.3 now at time of recording. Next time you want to update the system again, just run sudo dnf-y update. We add -y after dnf, that is to always confirm to yes if the update needs your confirmation. Currently there's no more update, as we've just updated it. Next, we're going to learn a bit about checkpoints. It's important in case you've done something faulty and want to revert back at the specific time of your previous checkpoint when everything is good. Actually, as a precaution, I've created a checkpoint before I updated the system to version 9.3. Currently, our system version is 9.3. And now, let's turn off the VM by typing sudo shutdown now. Okay, now let's open the Hyper-V Manager again. And this is our previous checkpoint, when our VM system version was 9.0. Let's say everything is fine, and now we want to create a checkpoint for current situation. Head over our VM, right-click to open the context menu, and select checkpoint to save our current condition. You can also click on the checkpoint menu on right side of Hyper-V Manager menu to do this. Wait for a while. And a new checkpoint is now created, that is where we've updated the system to version 9.3. Let's make note to remember what we've done when we created this checkpoint. Go to Setting. Let's head to Name at the bottom left of the Setting menu, and click it. And here we can add a note for us to remember. Let's say RockyLinux 9.3. Then press OK. The note will show at the side of our VM preview screen here. If we select the previous checkpoint, you can also see the note at that time. This helps you to remember what is the situation of this checkpoint. Let's say something bad happened, and we want to revert back to version 9.0. We can revert back to this checkpoint by clicking Apply here. Then we confirm the action, and wait for a moment, and current system position of now has moved before checkpoint RockyLinux 9.3. This indicated our current system is currently before we've updated the version. Let's start the VM. We log into our system. Type cat/etc/*release. Just as expected, we've reverted back to version 9.0. Now, let's say nothing bad was happened. We can now apply the checkpoint after we've updated to 9.3. Wait for a moment. The current position of now has moved to after the checkpoint as expected. Let's start our VM again. and log in again. And now let's type cat/etc/release. You see we're now at the point where we've updated to version 9.3. That's so easy to move back and forth in time with this checkpoint. And now, let's turn off the VM by typing sudo shutdown now. Let's move on. Now, we are going to try to access our VM from another machine. Well, from my host PC. But, it can be some other computer in your network or even across the internet. Let's begin by installing PuTTY, a famous SSH client that can be used to access your VM. Now, open your browser and download it from putty.org. Select your installation, in my case is for Windows 64-bit x86. Wait for the download. After it finished downloading, run the installer. But my PC has PuTTY installed already, so my option is to only repair the installation, but you can just select install and follow the process until it's done. After that, just open the Start menu, start typing PuTTY, and here our SSH client ready to run. After the PuTTY window open, we can start accessing our VM by typing its IP address here. Wait, let's look again. What is our VM IP address in the VM console? After we're in, let's type IPADDR and hit enter. Here it is, our IP address, 192.168.78.243. Let's use it in our PuTTY window. And then press enter. Okay, the first time you access your VM, you'll see this. Let's accept it because we're sure it's our VM and we don't want to verify it again later. Now we can access our VM from PuTTY terminal. And let's log in using Scrapper. And the password. Now, we're in. We can continue our business here with less distraction than the VM console. And, next we're going to change our PuTTY SSH access to VM without requiring password. We are going to use encrypted public and private key file pair, instead our login password. This is a considerably more secure method to prevent hacker to brute force our login password. So, we need a little edit to our configuration file later. And for that, we need an editor. I use Nano as it is a little easier than Vim, which is pre-installed, but you can choose whatever you like. Let's install Nano by typing sudo dnf-y install Nano and hit enter. Enter our password. Then wait a bit. And done. Next, we need to create a file in a specific directory inside our user, Scrapper, home directory. Let's go to Scrapper home directory. Type cd, hit enter. Actually, we already in Scrapper home directory. We need to create a new directory here. Let's type mkdir.ssh. Let's view our newly created directory by typing ls-l, or sorry, because the directory name is begin with a dot, it is hidden. So we need to view it by typing ls-l. We can see some hidden items in our directory now, and that's .ssh directory at the bottom. Let's set the directory permission to allow only Scrapper. Type chmod 700.ssh. Now, only Scrapper has access to this directory. We will talk about chmod another time. But now, let's enter the .ssh directory by typing cd.ssh. We need to create a file here with the name authorized _ keys. Let's use nano that we've installed before. Type nano authorized _ keys. Now, we are at nano interface. Let's just save this file by pressing Ctrl and S. Then press Ctrl and X to exit nano. Let's see our file by typing ls-l, there it is. Now we need to change permission so that only our username, Scrapper, can read and modify the file. Type chmod 600 authorized _ keys. The permission has changed now. Next, we're going to create the public and private keys file. Let's head to our PC, go to Start menu, and type putty. Let's open putty-gen, which we need right now. After it opened, let's hit the Generate button here. And wiggle over your mouse cursor in this area until the progress bar is full. Then we have an encrypted key string here. In the key comment, let's type our username Scrapper. Every time you set the key comment, it will change the last string of our encrypted key string, which will indicate our username. After that, save the whole session as our private key, enter the file name here, and remember it, as we need it later. I already have it on my PC, let's just overwrite it. And next, let's select all the string inside this box as our public key. Don't leave out a single letter here, select them all, and copy it. And now, let's head back to our VM PuTTY terminal. Let's edit our authorized _ keys which we created before. Type nano authorized _ keys. After the editor open, press your right mouse button to paste the public key here. Check them from the end to the beginning, and make sure it's the same. After that, let's save the file again by pressing Ctrl and S, then press Ctrl and X to exit nano. So now the keys are in place, the public key in the VM, the private key in our PC. Next, we're going to alter the SSH configuration, and change the access verification method to these keys file, rather than using our password. Let's type it. Sudo nano/etc/ssh /sshd_config and hit enter. Now the file is open in the editor. First, let's turn on the public key authentication. Find the string pubkey authentication, and just remove the hashtag in front of it. Next, see the authorized keys file here. It should be the same as our authorized _ keys we created before. Lastly, find the string password authentication. Here, remove the hashtag at the front. And at the end, change yes to no. That's it. Now, just save our file and exit nano. At the prompt, we should restart the SSH service to start changing our access verification method. Type sudo systemctl restart sshd, press enter. If success, you will not see any error message here. Let's head back to our PC. Open PuTTY again, this time on the left tree menu, go to Connection, SSH, Off, and click Credential. At the private key field, browse to the private key we've saved previously in our PC. After that, on the menu, go to Session at the top, let's type in our IP address again here. But then add our username and @ in front of the IP address. This will indicate we want to access the VM with the scrapper username. Don't ask a username again while accessing. Now, you can save this connection, so you can just click to connect it at another time. Type the connection name and then click Save. Next time, just double-click the connection name here, and then we will go straight to our VM. You see now, we are not asked for username and password. We successfully logged in by using our key pairs here, as it says, authenticating with public key scrapper. And without prompting username and password, you can do the job instantly and still secure. And that's all for now. Let's just shut down the VM by typing sudo shutdown now. Then your VM will shut down in a brief moment. Thank you, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel.